Are we on? I think we're on. Good afternoon. It is 2:54 in the Adelaide time. Welcome. We are here to judge the wedding category in the 2018 Epson AIPP Professional Photography Awards, which is proudly sponsored, and thankfully we are very grateful to Diamonds Cameras who are sponsoring the wedding category, so we're very grateful for that. Okay, the wedding category. This category is for wedding photography that represents industry practice including, but not limited to, creative posing, photojournalism, post-production, storytelling and image presentation. The wedding category will be judged in two sections, wedding open and wedding single capture. Entries into this category must be commissioned and captured during the client's real wedding or civil union. The only exception is to accommodate cultural differences where the wedding runs over consecutive days. In wedding open, these entries may use all post-production techniques, including the use of multiple images or elements to produce the entry. If several photographic elements are used, all the elements must have been taken at the same wedding or civil union, with the exemption of borders and textures. Wedding single capture entrants may use all post-production techniques, excluding the addition of new elements to the original capture, including borders and textures. The repetition of the same single capture, either in full or part, is not permitted. Very high standards of traditional wedding style should be duly recognised, as should images that reflect the highest level of contemporary market expectations. The judges should also consider the entries in the light of the category. Is the entry a great example of wedding photography? Images that are more interpretive or contemporary in nature may be better entered into illustrative. Although the category is judged in two sections, to assist the judges in their assessment, there is only one award. Fantastic. So if everyone is ready, what we're going to do now is a really quick introduction of the judges that we have on the panel. So I'm not going to tell you who they are because they are going to tell you themselves.
I'm Dean. I come from Tasmania, but originally from South Australia, so I feel like I'm a little bit at home. I'm very excited to be here today. Thanks for having me.
That would be Dean Mansbridge, by the way.
Correct.
Hello, Simon Casson. I think I've worked out I've shot over 600 weddings and they're all still married.
That's fantastic. Any repeat clients in that? Did they
Actually, two.
My name's Paul Holland, live in Tasmania. Born to an American nun and a Dutch sailor, and I'm an Australian citizen. I've got 4 citizenships. So I get around and I do a lot of international weddings, and I just got back from shooting a 3.5-day wedding shoot in Solvang, California. It was amazing.
I am Kate of the Ellis variety. I photograph mainly portraits, and this is my last year shooting weddings, having done them for about 10 years. And I'm super pumped about this category.
Where are you from, Kate?
South Australia. I didn't want to say because the gentleman before me had travelled widely, and I have not. So.
I'm George Frigopoulos, all the way from sunny Darwin. Good to be here. I've been shooting weddings 10 years now, and before moving to Darwin, was working at Excite Photography and Video in Melbourne with Nick and Jerry. So that's where my training comes from.
Fantastic. We also have on standby Simon Bills, David Haddy, and also Luke Simon. So they will be swapping in. And Simone. And we've got Simone Henkel. I better write you on my list. You were not on my list. Okay, fantastic. We're looking forward to some fantastic imagery to come up in front of you guys, and hopefully everyone watching at home will be able to follow us in our process. So thank you again to Diamonds Cameras for sponsoring the wedding category, and may we have the first print, please. Thank you, judges. We have a score of 77. And Paul, can I ask you to give some feedback for the photographer, please?
Brought a smile to my face straight away. Some very strong narrative elements, and I like the way there's different components that are leading in and out of the image. Where I think it falls down for me a little bit is the print caliber and the handling of the exposure and the sharpness on the main subject is really not up to sort of award standard. Very intriguing, interesting moment and narrative.
Thanks for that, Paul, and hopefully that will help the photographer going forward. And can we have the next print, please? And just to let everyone know that Diamond's Cameras are hosting a big lens event this coming Thursday the 21st. So this is exclusive for AIPP members. So please do head on to the AIPP website to the events page and book in for this fantastic event, which is by our sponsors at Diamond. So Diamond's big lens event. There may also be some small lenses. Maybe. Unless you just like big lenses. With lots of glass. Thank you, judges. We do have an average of 80. We have a majority 79. So in effect, we do have a silver. Well, no, it's a majority of 79. No, we don't. Majority is 79. So I am looking here at Kate Ellis, who is going in for a challenge.
Yes, please. I would love to know what isn't silver distinction in my mind about this. So I'm going to go with this being a Greek flag. Please tell me. Thank you. Because thank you. I know that sounded like a stupid question, but it just captures everything about the chaos and beauty and frivolity and emotion that happens in only a fairly short amount of time with these receptions. It goes chaotic straight away. It's a beautiful representation of how this culture celebrates what it does. It's got everything from the mama with her wonderful arm bags going nuts in there. It's got everything about the way this beautiful culture celebrates a couple marrying. Please tell me what's not of this isn't professional excellence, superior visual communication, imagination, craft and skill. I love it.
Paul Holan, you're on the other end of the scale. Can I get some comment from you, please?
Yeah, I needed come through that tie both the symbolism together and give you a reason to join them. I enjoy the little splashes of red. The colour tone's quite muted, but it's very consistent. So I feel like somehow it's maybe losing something in its use of tonality and colour. But it has a huge amount of energy that's very consistently flowing through the whole image. So I'm listening.
Dean, you're on silver.
Correct. I'm on silver and I like it there. I like it there for, and I quote, that this would exceed the normal professional practice when it comes to the high levels of communication. I think I'm reluctant to go any higher than silver because perhaps the technical aspects of the photography don't really mirror the dynamic nature of the event. You know that's there because the moments are there. The actual photography skills or photography technical aspects perhaps aren't super awesome silver distinction for me. But the way that they've captured what is, I reckon, a very short time within the actual context of the whole day, I think that the way that they've put that together is worthy of a silver because of the communication. I would have liked maybe it could be improved if there was a bit more of a clear story of the order of things. It looks almost messy. But you know, maybe it's one of those things that in the context of the short timeline we have at the awards, we can't study it and really love it. But yeah, I think it's a silver.
Okay, Kate, your right of reply.
Okay, I've been watching the awards for a long time and I've never seen a Greek reception or a reception of any form interpreted and communicated to us in this form. To be able to think we can turn this into our cultural flag. It has every part of, it has, I guess maybe, I'm sure we've all photographed Greek weddings. They are amazing. They're wrapping them in streamers. We've got the mum dancing with the bride. We've got the, I think the girls go down onto the floor and drink the booze directly from the cup without using their hands. It's all there, and it's all the way these guys party, and I've never seen it represented like this. And you don't always need to be photographing this technically beautifully if you can represent it in a way that just shows such a link between their pride of the way that they celebrate, which is really different to the way a lot of cultures do. So it needs to be rewarded. I can't see what you're not seeing.
All right, Kate, you will hold your score at 87. Can I ask the other judges to please rescore? Congratulations, panel. We have come up to an 83. We are on a silver award. And next print, please. Great comments to everyone. Thank you very much. And just also to remind everyone out there that here in Adelaide we have our awards dinner coming up this Wednesday evening, the 20th, and we do still have tickets available. So if you are wanting a fabulous evening with a great feast, great company, because we're all going to be there, then pop onto the AIPP website, again on the events page, and please do book your ticket. There is still time, so please do hop on there. Hello, Mark. And we are on 80 on a silver award. Now, George, I'm going to ask you if I can get a quick comment from you. You're just under the silver range.
Yeah, from initial reading, I thought beautiful image. Love the colours, love the lighting, love the emotion between the bride and groom. As I went up closer, there's some interesting stories happening within the guests. There was a bit of confusion with some of the guests where they're looking, and I think I just wanted a little bit more story in the background to add to what I was seeing in the foreground.
Okay, that's great. Thanks for that. And next print, please. We have an average of 79. However, majority 80, we are a silver award. Now, I'd love to get a comment actually from Luke. So, Luke, you're sitting just under the silver range there.
Yeah, congratulations to the author. Love the animation of the groom in this. I'd love to see a little bit more animation and emotion from the bride and just her in the middle of that archway. Just maybe there's some other frames that the author could revisit.
Excellent. Thank you for that. And next print, please. So just while we're going through the judging here, also to let everyone know that our emerging and student entries are also coming up in amongst all the prints here. So emerging and student are not separate from the rest of the field. So here in Adelaide, we have CCP sponsoring the emerging category, the Centre for Creative Photography, and Kodak sponsoring the student category. So thank you to both of those organisations for supporting us along the way. And this print scores 73. Simon Casson, would you like to speak for this print, please?
Sure. You can hear me? Good.
Yes.
For me, I'd find the person on the left a little bit distracting, as I do that laser beam hitting a person on the right in the nose and forehead, and that sort of centre area is quite bright. So I'm not sure where to look. That's my main concern with this one.
Okay, thanks for that feedback. Hopefully that will help. And, sorry, no. And next print, please. And this print scores 76. Now, Paul, yes, go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, obviously beautiful colour, as you can see, and the print resolve is quite well done. I think what I'd like to see to move it more into awards range is some greater connectivity or interactivity between the couple. Either they're doing the same thing or interacting with each other. There's this sort of almost like disinterest between the two of them and very little connection, even though they're joining their lives together at this moment. Look at maybe a few of the different frames and see if you can find something more interactive.
That's great feedback. And just to let the judges know, you're all actually in that same range of 76 and 77, so actually very consistent scoring. Next print, please. And this print has a score of 77. Dean, I'm going to get you to give some feedback for the photographer.
Sure. This is definitely a nearly there, I reckon. Whether this is not quite the right decisive moment, we maybe just missed it. There's a couple of expressions of the people that are here that are really cool, and there's a couple that are completely obscured by arms and things like that. Obviously, there's so many elements beyond your control at this particular moment, so you can only do what you can do, and this is definitely comfortably professional practice, so it's great. But besides that, maybe camera angle. If you were down lower, these arms wouldn't intersect faces of people in the background. Perhaps that's something to look at next time you're given this opportunity.
Great. Thank you very much for that. And next print, please. And we are judging the Wedding Open category. Sponsored by Diamonds Cameras. Wonderful store here in Adelaide. Been big supporters of the AIPP for quite some years now. Having a big lens event on the 21st. I bought one of my big lenses from Diamonds. Big enough. And this print scores 74. And Simon Casson. Oh no, Paul's got his hand up. Go on, Paul.
Yeah, there is a lovely moment caught within this image, but what I think would be more successful is the tonality is very cold, and yet it's speaking to quite a warm moment, and there's potentially a lot of romantic atmosphere in here with the wine barrels that I think is lost with that really cold colour palette. It's slightly off centre to the right, and there's a slight awkwardness in the face of the groom. But if you reworked it, or maybe had a more centred image, and maybe made the distracting elements of the clinical features less of a feature somehow through dodging and burning and colour management, and more leaning you into the connection in the moment in the middle.
Great feedback. Thank you for that. And next print, please. And this print scores 77. Now, I've got Luke. Yep. No, go ahead, Luke. Yep, thank you.
Beautiful moments. Just not sure whether all three of them are actually needed. I think the third image tells the whole story as it is, so maybe just thinking of less is more, potentially.
Really quick, Simon.
Drop the middle one, mono, everything.
Thank you for that. Next print, please. And this print scores 81 and is a silver award. George, can I get a comment, please?
I think the image on the right, congratulations, by the way, beautiful shot. The image on the right is perfect. The one on the left, I think the cropping could be a bit different. Yeah, bit too much space above the bridesmaid and father of the bride, and avoid the cropping of the bride's dad's hands.
Thank you very much for that. And next print, please. And this print scores 85 and is a silver distinction. Fantastic score, very consistent across the scoring too. Dean, can I get a quick comment, please?
Oh, I just wanted to say it's awesome. I know we're not supposed to, but I just had to. No, it's beautiful. I think, okay, let me say sensible things. Professional excellence, superior visual communication, craft and skill, and the imagination, you know, and the novelty, and the uniqueness of bringing us a portrait of the mother of the groom. You know, what a beautiful, beautiful story of the relationship between the two of them. Like, it's both ecstatically joyful, and there's that emotional one that gets you, that, you know, that feeling in your guts right in the middle when mum's tears. She has to turn her back on her groom as the bride's coming down the aisle. And then that loving embrace at the end during speech time. You just know that something's being said by that very subtle figure in the foreground with the microphone who's giving us a speech that's just obviously got a story of the bond together. It's just so well communicated and well put together. So definitely deserving of a silver distinction.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Well done. And next print, please. Okay. Can I get you to swap? And actually, Simone? No, David. Can I get David? David Hattie, sorry. Sorry.
Your position four. Sorry, yeah, there. Sorry. Position four. Position four.
Thanks. No. And we are judging the Wedding Open category, sponsored by Diamonds. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. And forever. This print has scored a 79. Now, Paul Holan, could I get a comment from you, please?
Yeah, I really appreciated the attempt at something quite original here. If you can't see from the back, it's the whole image is filled with smashed plates, which, you know, connotates, you know, some of the more cultural aspects of some of the weddings. What I feel like it alludes to a messiness quite well, but it's almost a bit too messy. It's losing a lack of control and direction and resting places or points of reference that kind of allow you to sit with a little bit more comfortably and stay with the image. It's quite messy up the top in terms of cut off heads and legs sticking through, which I think could have been controlled a little bit more deliberately. But in terms of chaos, it's quite successful in passing that on. Not quite there for the awards range for me.
Thank you, Paul.
Just a super quick one. I wonder if it was presented to us in the shape of a plate, because it really is about that story of that detail on the day that may push some people above to the award range.
Okay, well, almost there in silver awards. So very helpful comments. Thank you. And next print, please. And this print scores 78. George, can I get a comment from you, please?
Yeah, beautiful image, high professional standard. I guess looking for a different expression on the boy's face to tell more of a story. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for that. And next print, please. Actually, George, can I swap you off? Simone, can you hop on, please? Number 5. And if you are in Adelaide, you are more than welcome to pop down to Marden Senior College. Marden have been great supporters of the AIPP State Awards for a few years now, and we always thank Malcolm and his team for helping us with the organising and getting the rooms sorted out and all the bits and pieces that go with it. So thank you to Marden. So please do come down to Marden Senior College, Marden Road, Marden, that's in Marden. In case you're not sure, it is Marden. That's in Marden. And this print scores 82 and is a silver award. Are we all happy with that? We do have a challenge. We have a challenge. We do have a challenge. Wonderful. You did push the challenge button. Did it come up?
It's there. It was only when I was walking away from this print that I realised that all those birds making what I thought was a heart shape is actually two people kissing. I don't know if everyone can see that. Maybe you can. But that extra element just is more than just a thought to put a heart together and everything else. And it mirrors the guy and the girl in the same size as the bride and groom. I think the actual image of the bride and groom itself is lovely in the way that they're leaning towards each other. I would make it higher, even if there was just a little bit more to the bride and groom in terms of the actual lighting on the faces and things. But the entire imagery and pictorial nature of the piece is beautiful, and I gave it a silver with distinction for the extra craftsmanship that was put into it.
Dean, you are just under award range.
Correct. I'm not going to put a lot of effort into talking this down below a silver because I was on the fence with it. I was just really, I suppose, let down by the actual connection between the two. I didn't feel that at all. I feel like from a distance I got the graphic and it's awesome and it's so well crafted and communicated in that way. But I don't know, he's got this little smirk on his face like he's, and you know, maybe he's happy. I suppose I'm more convinced by the romance in the birds at the top than I am in the actual couple. But I'm definitely listening. I'm very fluid with this score. I wasn't locked in there. I was right on the fence, to be very honest. So I'm certainly listening to any other comments that can be brought into it.
Simone, can I get an extra comment from you, please?
Yeah, I really love this. And one of the reasons I love it is because I know this mural, and what bothers me about it is something that may not be super known, but when you go to kiss your significant other, you tip your head to the right. That's typically how a human does it. They tip their head to the right. But that mural has it going the other way. So this photographer has realised that and had them do what's not instinctively what they would do and had their faces tipped to the left to kiss. And that thought put into it is what made me put it into the silver range. I think that's fantastic because it's otherwise quite a simple image, and when you're given a mural like that, it's quite a gift. You know, you can make something beautiful out of it. But it's that extra bit of thought with that direction that made me think it's worth a silver.
David, your right of reply.
Sure, what was the final score, please?
Okay, so at the moment we are sitting on an 82.
82, all right. It's obviously a silver at the moment and well worth it. I would love the judges to consider the extra thought behind this image that the photographer went through and bring it up just to give points to this photographer, if nothing else. And it really shows a thought put into it rather than just taking a photograph at a wedding day that everyone does.
Okay, David, you will hold your score on 87 if the other judges can rescore, please. And we have come up 1 point. We're at 83, so we are still on a silver award, but congratulations. Great work to the photographer and fantastic feedback. Okay. And I'll just have a blank screen just for a quick second. We'll just do a quick judge change. Just hop out. Okay, and if I can get... Yeah, Kate, can you come in for me, please? Oh, I just got to accept the next one. No. Have you done that one? And I'll have the next print, please. We are at an average of 80. This print does score majority 79 though. Yeah. So I would love to get a comment. Paul, you are on that 79 range just before the silver. Quick comment
Yeah, I
from
really
you,
do,
please.
79. I just felt slightly unconvinced by the veil. It's completely still environment. How does it even moving? And the print quality was almost there, but not quite. It has a level of grain through it and noise in the sky that just pulls it back slightly from what I would put into an award range print. But a beautiful moment, strong graphics, sorry, Robin, and beautiful colour palette.
Thank you for that. That should hopefully help. And next print, please. And of course, our thanks to Epson for sponsoring our state awards, not only here in South Australia for Tasmania and Northern Territory, but also all other states around the country. It's been a fantastic year, so thank you again to Epson for your wonderful and amazing support. And this print scores a 74. Can I get a comment from Dean, please?
I think I've been pulled, my distraction has been pulled by the luminance, if you like, of this green. It's like fluorescent green in the foreground. It's just really working as a distraction towards the engagement that is happening in the image. So if we're going to take the effort to set up a beautifully, constructed portrait of the bridal party, then let's make sure we're setting it up in a place that works really, really well, not to in an environment that's not distracting.
Okay, thank you for that. And next print, please. Just a reminder to everyone, the Diamonds Big Lens event, Thursday the 21st. So book your spot on the AIPP website. And if you haven't been to the AIPP website, then you should go and have a look. We've got lots of amazing information on there. AIPP.com.au. And this print scores a 79. Now, Kate, you are just on that 79 range, and if I can get a comment from you, please.
Sure thing. This is really beautiful. The subtle tones are really, really enjoyable. For me, so borderline. I just needed something else, a little bit more connection from Groom, just something else to bring up into that award range for me, but really beautiful.
Thank you for that. And next print, please. And just to remind everyone, so because of our late start today, we have had to do a bit of a shuffle of the categories. So for nature and family that were going to be on today, they will be shifted to tomorrow at the end. So that will be early afternoon, should be, for nature and family categories. Unfortunately, we had a glitch with servers this morning. In Singapore, apparently. They were sleeping in. I do love Singapore, by the way. I'm a sailor. I spent half my life there. And we have an 81 and a silver award. Congratulations. Now, yeah, go ahead, Paul. Please do.
I really enjoyed this print. Awarded a silver. I feel like it could go higher if the couple aren't so lost in the grandeur and the majesty of it by some more selective dodging and burning. So it brings out that moment in them in that context, because they're a little bit overwhelmed by the environment, but it is a very, very striking environment and interesting angle.
Thank you for that. That's great feedback. And next print, please. And this print scores a 79. Now, David, you are just under the award range there. If you can offer a quick comment, please.
Sure. It's a lovely court moment and very high professional practice in terms of just capturing those split seconds that happen. It's amusing and fun. From the photography side of things, we don't need that left-hand side. It should be nice to come into the people's faces themselves, and a little bit more light, for example, on the bridesmaid on our bottom right, and perhaps just a little bit more light in the bride's face too, because the highlight from the background is really bringing us to the back rather than to the people.
Thank you for that. And next print, please. And this print scores 76. Now, can I get a quick comment, please, from Dean?
Really tricky conditions to have to photograph a decisive moment with so much movement and stuff like that in there. And the offshoot of that is a bit of motion blur maybe. We've lost connection with the bride, unfortunately, because she's turned her head just that little bit far away. If that was obviously you can't control that much. And again, we've got that issue with intersecting arms. I shouldn't say again, I'm judging the print that's in front of me only. So there's some technical things as well. There's this kind of colour of this green coming through is initially just not very appealing. I wonder if black and white treatment to this whole thing would improve it and really harness the expressions a bit more.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And next print, please. Hopefully the comments provided by the judges can help entrants to perhaps either look at that image or maybe to create another image or to look at another image for future awards. And this print scores 78. Simone, yeah, go ahead, thank you.
Yeah, I think this is a really beautiful moment, and it's the Nana's knee highs they got me. They were fantastic. But what I really, really wanted was for the colours to, like their faces, to sort of really pop, and I feel like they're just that little bit orangey red kind of thing that makes it feel all a bit disconnected. So if you're going to be reworking it for APA, just watch the tones in the skin, especially there's a real disconnect between their faces and their legs.
That's great. Thank you very much for that. And next print, please. We are judging the Wedding Open category here at the 2018 South Australian, Northern Territory and Tasmanian AIPP State Awards. The State Awards are sponsored by Epson, and the wedding category is sponsored by Diamonds. Diamonds cameras, that is. And we do have an average of 80, but the majority is 79. Now, we have a challenge. Ba-boom, go Dean.
Awesome. Because I finally gave something an 84 so I can challenge. We stuck on 83, which is where I thought it was, an 82 or an 83. But here we are. We get a chance to talk about it. Now, to judge the elephant in the room, the bottom image doesn't need to be there. That's unfortunate that it's there. I'm not quite sure where it needs to be there. So I won't say it doesn't need to be there. Maybe there's something in it. But we have a beautiful story of a father of the bride, I'm assuming here. Or maybe he could even be a little bit older. Maybe it's a grandfather, I don't know. But it's a really well composed story that picks up on a few different elements and a few different relationships and moments. I think in the top three images, certainly we've got a great level of engagement from everyone in the background. And we've got a similar tricky environment to photograph in technically, but there's enough detail through all the background there. And all of that is just really well crafted and put together in a way that tells a great story. I believe it deserves to be a silver award for the compelling use of compositional skills and communicating it in a way that tells that whole story.
David, you're just under silver there.
Yes. Elephant, correct. I think the top three are definitely the ones to live with. I was 79. I'm so close to being silver, and perhaps it was the bottom one that threw me. It's just a beautiful story. Print handling is lovely, in as much as everything's been kept back except for where we want to have our focus. on the father and following his story through. Even with the bride and groom at the top, he's in focus, and they're not trying to get everything in one shot. There's a nice connection between most of the people in the background. So I'm talking this print up because I can see those elements, and I think I will come back up again. It was that bottom one which unfortunately sort of took it away. So when you're doing triptychs and quads and what have you, all of them need to be fantastic for the awards. So if you want to rework this and just bring it down to a triptych, I think you might have something further.
Simone, you're just under that silver award range.
Yeah, and it took me a while to actually get the story in it, and which is why I sort of went under. For me, the interaction with the father isn't as obvious as actually the interaction with the girlfriends. The girlfriends standing in the background, all gooey, for me were far more the story. So I would have really liked to have seen that emphasised more so than the dad thing. If it is the dad thing, I would have cropped them. I would have cropped those girlfriends out because they're way too distracting because they're too emotional.
Okay, Dean, your right of reply.
That's great, and what a beautiful positive to bring out of this whole process is that we can all see different things. I'd award it for both because I think they're a supportive part of the story. So the story we've been presented with, I believe, is the father figure, and the girls really add to that. And I think that is that sort of level of communication that's just beyond the norm. I think putting it together this way is definitely. It deserves a silver. It deserves a silver, guys. I'd love you to reconsider your scores and please come up.
Okay, Dean, you will hold on 84 if the others could rescore, please. Deserving. And deserving it is 82 silver award. Well done, judges. Great work, Dean. Fantastic. And next print, please. And of course, congratulations to the photographer. Because that is why we are here. After all. And to be a photographer, you need to buy camera gear. And to buy camera gear, you can go to Diamonds Cameras, who are sponsoring this fantastic category. And this print scores a 76. Paul, can I get a comment from you, please?
A lot of potential in this level of communication. I feel like there's a little bit too much area around there that's not adding to the story, and you could crop it and make it tighter and cleaner. Also, the way the light's handled of the couple, they're pretty much blown out, and you're pulled more across to the non-detail and the rest of the window than the actual couple, and they're not very well resolved. So if you could somehow work that and bring it down and make that blasting light not poke you in the eye, but allow you to gently walk into the frame and engage with the couple and simplify the composition, I think it'd be a lot stronger.
Thank you. Microphone on. Thank you very much for that. And we are going straight into now to the wedding single capture category. So George, can I get you to come in, please? And we'll just swap you over. Yes. Okay, so can I get the next print, please? Have we got the next print? It's looking a bit flat there. That's it.
Thank you.
Where is it? Where's it gone? Ta-da. And we have a silver award at 80. Congratulations to the photographer. Luke, can I get a comment from you, please? You are actually just under.
Yeah, congratulations to the author. Well done. I don't really have anything else to add to it. Sorry.
Yeah, George, go. Yeah.
Well done, beautiful shot. I would have loved a connection between the bride and the groom. Maybe the bride looking at the groom or some bit more of a connection there. Yep.
Thank you for that. And next print, please. Congratulations, we are 80 and a silver award. Now, if I can get a comment, Simone, from you, please. You were actually just under that silver.
I was, and I agonised. It took ages for me to score this one because everything is so beautiful, but I felt like the bride's gown was lost in the tonal range of the rest of the scene. I think her dress is too close to that concrete. And so it meant that she just started to disappear, whereas I wanted those beautiful contrasty lines going up to her to end in something dramatic. So I think if you took it to APA, work on making her more of the feature.
Fantastic, thank you for that. And next print, please. It's always good to get comment from our judges on how photographers can maybe take it to another level, a new level, the next level. It's all about the levels and the layers. Onions have layers. And we are judging the wedding single capture. Here at Marden, in Marden, down Port Rush Road. And this print has scored a 77. Now, I would love a comment from George, if I may.
Beautiful shot. Love the elements used, and it's not until you go up to the image that you see the bride and groom. For me, it was a bit confusing of what was real, what wasn't, what was lit, what was darkened in post-production. So I think there was a lack of storytelling within and narrative in this image.
Thank you very much for that. And can I have the next print, please? Paul, I might give you a bit of a break, if you like. And Kate, can I get you to come back on, please? No? No. Simon, can I get you to hop on for this one, please? Mm. Mm. This print scores 81 and is a silver award. And we do have a challenge from David, who is on 87. Go ahead.
There's one word that comes to mind when I'm looking at this, and that's control. The photographer has been able to control the lines, the tone, the print, the conditions. Everything is just superbly lined up in terms of the graphic shapes in there. The printing is beautiful. We've got tones from the deeper shadows up to the soft, silky whites coming through the window. We see the bride. She's not overtaken by the landscape of the building. Even the, whether it's by design or fluke, even, I'd like to say it's designed for the photographer's sake, the doorway at the bottom, the what do you call those things? The revolving door, thank you. That's even lined up straight with everything else. Everything just is beautifully controlled, and so I've rewarded it for its technical merits as well as the beauty of that softness in a place that can be hard to get all of those tones in one spot.
Okay, Luke, you're just under that silver range. Go ahead.
Yeah, I put this in professional practice, and it actually came down to control, which was one of the reasons why I kept it where it was, because you've spent the time to place the bride in this position, and I just feel like where that rail intersects the bottom of her dress, like if this is showcasing that bride and her dress, I'd want to see the base of that dress, and it's being overtaken by the rail. So to go to this much effort, I just feel like it to pop it up into that award level. I wanted to see that. That was one of the main things that kind of held me back.
Okay. Simon, you're just actually on silver. Can you offer a comment here?
Yeah, the thing that I really liked about it was attention to detail. So in another way of, I guess, explaining control, particularly on the left, just how the rails just lined up beautifully with the shape of that square thing. So I think it's definitely an award image. I'm not sure if I'll come up to silver distinction, but I think it's an image that's been very well captured.
Okay, so David, your right of reply.
I think the comments have been the control side of things that the photographer's been able to capture in here, and I take on board the idea of the dress underneath there, but it's really the landscape with the bride in it that we're looking at here, and it's just a beautifully made photograph that has been well captured, and the work afterwards on the actual print has been superbly handled.
Fantastic. David, you'll hold your score on 87. If all the other judges could rescore, please. And we are still in the silver range on 82, so congratulations to the photographer. That is a great result. Fantastic. And we'll have the next print, please. Great comments from all the judges there too as well. This print has scored 75. Can I get a comment, George, please?
Yeah, great professional standard. Maybe adding a bit of movement to the image, but bring it up to another level. So yeah, adding movement and interacting with the couple, getting some different angles may give you a different, better result.
Thank you. Real quick, David. Yep.
Very quickly. Also cropping, we've got the bride and groom and we've kept the reflection of the water. That's all very nice. We don't really need to have all of that. We know it's a sunset and we've got the sun placed immediately between their hands, which is nice. But perhaps look at even a vertical crop where you don't even need the full reflection of in the base. Just concentrate on the shadows.
Okay, thanks for those comments. And next print, please. Simon, if I can swap you off. Kate, if you can come back on, please. And we have an 82 and a silver award. Congratulations to the photographer. Actually, can I get a comment from David Haddy, please?
Sure. It's a lovely, graphical, awesome image. The two words we're not allowed to use. I do like the nature of the round circles, which is a little bit graphical. And round. I would like to see a little bit more detail in the bride and groom, and perhaps just a little bit more in the expressions. It does come down to the bride and groom in the end, after all these. And I saw maybe it's just me, but there's a word up there which is chance, and I'm not sure whether that relates to the story, which I'm just not getting. So sometimes when there are words in a picture, it may help, but if it doesn't come across, it may not add to anything.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, but a great silver award. And next print, please. Can I do a swap, Simone? Are you ready to come back on, Dean, for me? Thank you. We have a solid silver 83. Congratulations to the photographer. Kate, can I get a comment from you, please?
Sure can. This is really beautiful. That background is dreamily beautifully just put together. It's old masters style. It's beautifully printed. The only thing that held me back a little bit was the Y. Just the Y walking into the tree. Yeah, it's really beautiful.
Thank you for that. And next print, please. Paul, can I get your top on, please? Who went off? Simon. And this print scores a 79. George, can I get a comment from you, please?
Great work. Love the colour and location. The attention to detail with getting the square on the left all lined up, and the intersection with the hands holding with that line. I guess for me it was missing some emotion or narrative elements between the bride and groom. So, yeah.
That's great. Thank you for that. And next print, please. Paul, sorry, we've got to get you back. Sorry. We are judging the wedding single capture images, photographs, prints. Proudly sponsored by Diamonds Cameras. And this print scores a 77. And if I can get a comment from you, Dean, please.
Yeah, it fits really comfortably, I reckon, in that scoring range where it's professional practice. There's nothing like overtly wrong. I don't think there's a moment here that it's going to give us that extra elements that we require to push it into the award range. So by all means, congratulations for giving us professional practice. Keep it up. Just push yourself a bit further for a bit more.
Fantastic. Great comment. Thank you very much. And next print, please. You're on. No, stay on. And this print scores a 79. Paul, can I get a comment from you, please?
In terms of the colour palette, I feel like a little bit washed out to the side. There's kind of a blue casting to the white tonality, which is pulling it back for a little bit. You could bring those colours out and give a warmth or a breadth, or you could potentially move it into monochrome and maybe darken and dodge it a burn to bring the accentuation of that shadow out a little bit more.
I would experiment with the orientation. I wonder if we flipped it 90 degrees and we're looking at something portrait shape. Also, walking down out of the frame. If they were turned around physically and looking towards their shadows, I think I would like that better. Overall orientation, I have a look.
Awesome.
And straight.
Okay. Thanks, judges. You guys are awesome. Next print, please. Certainly all very beneficial to the photographer. So for anyone just interested to know, so when we are at our national awards and you get a score of a 79 or any score that is just on the cusp of the next range, the print actually does go to a review, but we just don't have that luxury, unfortunately, at our state awards. And this print scores a 77. Are we all happy? with that? We're all happy with that. Okay, that is a score of 77. Now, could I get a comment from David, please?
Oh, sorry. I love the feel of this, but when I went up and looked closer at the image, there was the lack of connection to either the bride or the groom, and that's what brought it back to me. I think it's sitting right in the middle of professional practice, isn't it? What's the score again?
We're at 77. We're professional practice.
It's a good professional practice, and the photographer should be commended for that too. To bring it up further into an awards range, we need to see a little bit more of something, a story, and whether the groom's looking up at the bride's looking back at him, something rather, or she's coming up the stairs. Those sorts of elements will help this sort of image.
Thank you very much for that, and very helpful to the photographer as well. And next print, please. Print scores a 76. And we have a challenge from George.
So guys, I understand there's some technical elements to this that may not be there, but that colour and the emotion, the connection between the couple is beautiful. The colour on the groom's face, the paint on hers, her earring as well is perfectly sharp, as well as the paint. So it really holds me there. The closer you go, you really feel that connection, and I really feel we need to celebrate those moments of connection. Yeah.
Paul, can I get a comment? You're on the opposite end of the scale there.
There is a really beautiful, authentic and engaging level of intimacy in this image, but I feel like it's a little bit lost in competing with huge amount of expanse in the image, which is the white shirt, which is pulling me away, the awkward cropping through the top of the heads. And I would almost prefer to see this with a little bit of context. If you were further back with a longer lens and you had them blended in with somewhere that let them rest somewhere and give them a bit of breathing room around that moment. But I'm listening.
Dean, you're sort of just under the award range there.
Yeah, this one, I agree. The emotional connection's great. You know, it's a really beautiful moment. It's just like technically presented to us in a way that doesn't push it into that award level, which is frustrating because I suppose initially when I saw it, I was maybe underwhelmed, and then I was like, wow, what a beautiful connection. That's really great. Not quite overwhelmed, but I'm very much just whelmed right now, I suppose, when you put everything together. So great connection. If you're doing anything as the photographer to encourage this sort of connection, you're doing something very, very right. And that's a great, great thing. Or just seeing it and all that. So that's fantastic. But just, all of the technical things I don't like to talk about, but we're not quite there at award standard, I think, in terms of the print presentation.
Okay, George, your right of reply for the print?
Yeah, I think all those things I totally get. And a bit of advice for the photographer, maybe looking for the light first and then creating the emotion, and capturing that would definitely push it and make it a solid silver.
Okay, so George, you hold your score at 82, and the other judges could rescore, please. And we're on 77, so we came up one, so still under, but thank you, judges, for the comments. I do hope that will help the photographer. And now, can I just get a quick judge change? So, Kate, if you can swap out, and Simone, if you could come in for me, please. And if we could have the next print, please. And this print scores 81 and is a silver award. Now, I would love to get a comment from, where are we? From Paul. Paul, actually, you're just under.
Yeah, I was very, very close. The technical elements of this image are superbly handled. The sharpness is quite exquisite, and the print handling is beautiful. I felt like there was a little bit of tension in how tight the cropping was at the top, and I felt his expression of engagement was a little bit sort of disconcerting, and whether he was just being pushed into it because his wife wanted him to, in terms of the authenticity of where he was at. But that's a little bit subjective, but well seen and beautifully captured, and well printed too.
That's great. Fantastic. Great comment. Congratulations to the photographer. And we'll have the next print, please. Mm-hmm. We are at 80 on a silver award. Well done, judges. Now, George, you're sitting kind of just under there.
So close, so close. Congratulations. I'm glad it got there. For me, the outline of the groom, if you were to see if you can bring out a bit more of an outline to create that separation, then I think that'll push it further higher.
Fantastic. Thank you for that comment. And we'll have the next print, please. And this print scores a 77. Simone, can I get a comment from you, please?
Yeah, I think the concept's is lovely. Using that idea of the water on both sides of the couple so that your reflection is interesting. I think what's let it down is the expression on the groom's face. He's not looking very comfortable, and that lens flare coming in off the right. I don't know that you'd need that space off to the right. You could crop it quite convincingly if you want to try again.
Thank you very much for that. Can I get a quick swap out? Paul, if you want to hop out, and I'm going to get Kate to come back in for me, please. And we'll get next print, please. Good job. And we are here at Martin Senior College. So do come on now. We're still going to be judging tomorrow. So if you're in Adelaide and you're interested to see how this process unfolds, it's actually quite interesting. Well, we all think it is. Then do come on down. There is no cost to attend the judging. And we would love to see all your happy smiley faces here in the audience. And this print scores a 79. Can I get a comment, Dean, please?
Again, very comfortable professional practice here. I hope the couple love it because it's really cool. I can imagine this is a big print on a wall in a home, and that's definitely where it belongs. I think the blackness of the clouds, yes, stormy skies can add drama and intrigue, but I think there's just so much contrast up there that it's just taking us away a little bit from the couple in the back of the car. So perhaps a little bit of treatment differently and reprinting, and they could, or cropping perhaps, to bring a little bit of it out of there. So there's definitely some great aspects to this image.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that. And can we have the next print, please? And of course, the State Awards sponsored by our friends at Epson. And we actually do have Bruce here from Epson, who would be happy to answer any of your printing questions for you. He is very much the man in knowledge of prints and printers. He's good to chat to. And this print scores a 76. Can I get a comment from David, please?
Yes, again, a lovely professional practice. It's a lovely portrait. We just need to try and get it up into the awards range by bringing something more storytelling. With the bride just looking down, it's just one of those lovely feeling images, but we need more to pull us into the image. So perhaps whether it's cropping in without necessarily all the sides, or just a little bit more base, something that holds the story together with wherever they are.
Thank you very much for that. And can we have the next print, please? So it's always good to have comments from our judges. You never know what the photographer may pick up on. So, of course, our state awards are the precursor to our national awards, which are coming up in August in Melbourne. So it's always great to go through the state awards system to enter your prints and to get some great feedback. And we have an 80. It is a silver award. Congratulations to the photographer. Now, Dean, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm so glad because I just got there. So cracker of an expression, beautiful moment. I really get a sense of who these people are. A young, fun-loving couple, and that's so good. But I wonder if you print it down. I don't think it needs to be the size that it is. I think because of the size, we can see that maybe it's just not 100% sharp right on that eye, but on the cheek in front of the eye, we've got a really shallow depth of field, and I think that's causing that. But so if you could look at those things, maybe just reprint and try and get rid of some of the muddiness in her skin and stuff, you could be having a more comfortable silver come over time. But congratulations, well done.
And a cracker of a comment. Thank you very much. So now, David, I might swap you out, and if I can get Luke to come on in. And if we can have the next print, please. And we have an 82. It is a silver award. We've got lots of happy judges looking at me and smiling. That's so good. A very consistent scoring, judges. George, you're actually just under on the on.
I'm glad it did. For me, Beautiful decisive moments between the three, and that in itself deserves a silver. The probably look at the blacks in the background and a slightly different crop, allowing a bit more space, or there's just something that doesn't sit 100% well for me.
Okay, but thank you very much. No, great result for the photographer. And next print, please. And if you're wanting to have a great night out, we've got the South Australian Awards presentation coming up on Wednesday, the 20th, Wednesday evening. It's at the Pavilion? Pavilion on the Park. $99, 3 courses, all you can eat and drink. It's a bargain. And a photo booth to boot, and free parking. What else could you possibly want from Adelaide? And Simon will cook a roast dinner.
Take the tram.
Can you take the tram? You can take the tram. We have trams in Adelaide.
Is the beat still active?
Is the what?
The beat.
The beat. What's the beat?
South Parkland Sea.
Oh.
In case you want afterwards.
That's inappropriate, Paul. Oh, so this print scores an average of 85, majority 84, so it is actually sitting on a silver award at the moment. So we are going for a challenge by George, who is sitting on 90. So George, go for it.
What a stunning shot. The detail, the lighting, how they were able to light up that tree is incredible. Where they placed the flash to light that up in the moment between the bride and groom is exquisite. The detail, like I said, I think it's just a gorgeous photo, and I would love for you to have a second look. At first, the darkness between the bride and groom's legs was distracting, but then I realized it's part of the dress and part of the overall image. So if that was distracting to you, have another look, and let's have a go and bring this up to a gold.
Simone, I'm going to get a comment from you. You're sitting on 81 in the silver range.
Yeah, and it killed me to do that. When it came around, it's, oh, wow, this is amazing. And then I walked up and looked. The tree's the part that took my eye. That's so beautiful, and it crisscrosses its way down the trunk in this lover's kind of fashion where it's entwined branches and all that, and then it gets to two people who are standing fairly statically, and that's where I fell short. I just felt like that that opportunity was missed to entwine that couple so that they matched what was going on in the tree behind them. And it may be that they are, but they're so close to each other and it's so in silhouette that we can't see any of those little hints that show you that two people are lovers. So it might be entwined hands or fingers or foreheads touching, that kind of thing. So what I would have liked to have seen is a little bit of light on them to be able to pick out that story so that it matched the scene behind them.
Now, we are going for a challenge here for a shiny gold. Kate, can I get a comment from you? You're actually sitting on 88.
And I'm so glad this went to a challenge because I just adore this. It made my heart skip a beat. I love the fact that with silhouettes, it's really difficult to get that connection. And whilst I agree with Simone, I think this is a silhouette where they're entwined, but you can still see them as individuals. Often with silhouettes, they disappear. There's only one leg, etc. I just think this is absolutely beautiful to be able to light that tree up like that, handle it like this, and still have that connection in the bride and groom, I think is outstanding.
Luke, you're in deep thought. Share.
Yeah, as Kate said, my heart did skip a beat when this turned around, and I think that is important to recognise when we're judging these images. There was just a little lack of... the couple just seemed to be a little bit too static for me, like a little bit too... I didn't want to see movement, but just like they're very rigid. That was really the only thing that held me back, and maybe a little off the bottom was just kind of holding me back. It's just a big dark chunk at the bottom, some of which probably doesn't need to be there.
George, go for your right of reply.
I think the ability of the photographer to find this location, find the perfect tree and light it perfectly deserves the recognition of a gold.
Okay, so George, you will hold your score. The remaining judges, please do rescore. And we are on an 88, a silver with distinction. Well done, judges. That is an absolutely fantastic result. Great comments and a lot of fun to listen to. So congratulations to the photographer. And we will have the next print, please. And this print scores a 73. Dean, can I get a comment from you, please?
Sure. I think we've got to consider a little bit more about where we place our subjects in the landscape. I think you found a lovely place. The lighting's really harsh. You got this harsh directional dappled light, but it's just so direct, and it's illuminating the back of the dude's neck. They are connected in the face, but stagnant arms just sort of drooping dead by the side. So that it seems like there's a manufactured, forced thing happening here. If you're going to do that, at least do it somewhere that's going to really enhance the image. I don't think we've quite hit the mark there and anything. So keep at it, for sure.
Thank you very much for that. And can we have the next print, please? We have an average of 78, but we do have majority of 80 and a silver award. Woo! We've got some cheers happening here. I would love to get a comment. Let me see. Luke, go ahead.
Beautiful story here of cultures and technology, and I just think it's really beautifully done. To lift it, maybe just to drop the brightness in the background a little bit, might just lift this a little bit higher.
Fantastic, great result. Congratulations to the photographer, always great to hear. And now can I get a swap over? If I can, let me see. Kate, if you can hop off. Paul, can you hop on for me, please? Thank you. And we will have the next print, please. And this print has scored a 77. And we have a challenge from Luke Simon. Take it away.
Yeah, I'd really enjoy this image in terms of the situation that a photographer finds themselves in when they're shooting a first dance. It's never an easy place to capture something where you've got a great connection with a couple and also some detail in their faces, especially when you're backlighting something like this. So yeah, I just really enjoy the level of craft in terms of the photographer communicating that to us, and the way it's been printed and handled is pretty good considering the low light and everything else that's involved in grabbing these images, and it is a single capture. So I think those things should be awarded when we see something like this.
Fantastic. Simone, you're on 72, if I can get a comment, please.
Yeah, I really wanted to love it because it's quite a nice connection between the couple, and it's been like their poses are quite lovely. But I felt when I got up to the print that the colour was breaking up, and that it just wasn't holding. The print wasn't holding like it should, and with that, it felt like it was something that it's the best a photographer could get in that condition, but not necessarily what they hoped for. So I'm not super sure about going into the silver range, but I can appreciate it for the loveliness that it is.
Dean, you're just under the silver range there on 78.
And I need to hear a little bit more to push me over the line. I think it just falls away at the bottom. I think there's just so much real estate taken up there with what's happening at the bottom, and it's just drawing my eye away from what is a really authentic, beautiful connection. So I can really appreciate the technical difficulty and the ability to get details in there where there should be. It has an unusual colour palette that I kind of like. It gives it this really moody kind of feel that I'm really into. But I just want to know why we've got so much of this, muddy area that's sort of at the bottom there. I just don't feel it needs to be there. That kept me in the really good professional practice place, but not quite into the award range. But I'm listening.
Yeah, go ahead, Paul.
I'm going to come join Luke at silver. I was sitting right on that fence, and it was a print quality, I think, or the elements of how the tonality was handled that was holding me back. And yet, sitting with it, that aesthetic, I've actually find, Dean, there's a beautiful flow out of the frame that allows, which is almost like floating, and it adds to the ethereal kind of feeling for me. There's an incredible delicacy to the lighting and the way the lighting's handled on their faces, where the intimacy of that moment is captured so beautifully. And that unusual colour palette, it actually really works. There's a gorgeous softness to it. I'm coming up to silver.
Okay, Luke, your right of reply.
Yeah, thank you for those very constructive comments on both ends of the scale there. It really does just come back to me, for me, to the difficulty in capturing this well, and I think it has been handled really well given the conditions. So. I just really like to see stuff like this that's single capture, that's handled really beautifully, awarded for it.
Thank you very much for that. So, Luke, you will hold your score on 83. If I can ask the other judges to rescore, please. Oh, it's so wonderful when that happens. It's 80. It's a silver award. Oh, good job, guys. That is just awesome. I just love that. Such a great result. Congratulations to the photographer. Good teamwork. Totally, absolutely. Good job. Good job. Good talking. Okay, and next print, please. So for those listening in or watching here, the idea of the challenge is that there is a photographer who may see something in the print that maybe some others are missing, some of the other judges. So the idea is to really just express the print, talk it up, and to get the other judges, or to try to get the other judges over the line. And it worked in that case, so it's always a great thing to see. This print scores a 78. Very consistent judging. Paul, yes, go right ahead. Thank you. Very consistent judging across the line.
It's very elegant capture and print, actually. What I feel is its challenge is, what's the subject? Like, you're pulled across to the right by this beautiful detail on the tree, particularly that hot area on the right-hand side, and it actually pulls you out of the frame, and you sort of lose the couple. You've got to push yourself back over to the other side, and you're quite forced there by the how hot the highlights are on the dress to sort of push you in there, and there's just a murky black on the left. So they've obviously taken a lot of time to try and control the elements and the highlights, but if you either choose a different crop or soften the highlight on the dress or direct us a little bit more gently as to where you want us to go and in a way that makes sense, then that would be wonderful.
Fantastic. So I'm just going to thank you very much for that comment. So I'm just going to get a quick judge change. Luke, if I can get you to hop up. David, Hattie, if I can get you to spring on in. Boing, said Zebedee. Everyone know who Zebedee is? And next print, please. Zebedee from the Magic Roundabout. Okay, Simone. Yeah. Okay. Yep. I've got to do a judge change. Excellent result, 81. That is a silver award. Congratulations to the photographer. Can I get, yes, who? Paul, yes, go ahead.
I'm already in the award range. There's an incredible elegance and beautiful tonality of her, and yet I would have gone higher if I felt like the tonality around the outside of her was handled a bit more delicately. It's very heavy and heavily handled, and the information I hope would be in there. But if you just brush through a little more delicacy in the way you move from those highlights on her out to the sides, I think you'd be able to move it even higher.
Fantastic. Thank you for that, Paul. And can I have the next print, please? So just wanting to give another thanks to the sponsor of the wedding category today, which is Diamonds Cameras. Our friends at Diamonds in the city here in Adelaide. Plenty of parking around Diamonds. Right next to Rundle Mall. The mall's balls. If you're not from Adelaide, you won't know what that means. We do have an average 79, but it is a majority 80 and is a silver award. Well done, judges. Absolutely fantastic work. Now, I would love a comment, George. You actually did come in under the award range.
Yeah, I wanted to come higher. There's a few elements, like the brightness on the girl's shoe. That area is quite bright compared to above it. The girl's looking at the door, maybe looking inside or capturing another moment which told you more of a story, would have pushed me into the award range.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. And can we have the next print, please? And also wanting to give a shout out to our friends at CCP here in Adelaide, the Centre for Creative Photography, who are sponsors of the Emerging Photographer of the Year. And also Kodak, who are sponsors for the student category. So these two don't have their own individual categories because all prints by emerging and student photographers are all in amongst the field of all prints. So you just never know what you're looking at. It could be an accredited photographer, it could be a student, it could be emerging, it could be a non-member even. So big thanks to CCP and Kodak. So CCP to Gavin Blake and his team down there. And this print has come in at score of 77. And Paul, I'd love a comment. That'd be great. Thank you.
There's a wonderful delicacy to the print, and the tonality in it is handled really well. It's quite an intriguing kind of context to place it in, but what I feel like it falls down is it's far too tightly cropped on the bottom, and I'd like to see it kind of floating and giving a bit of room to breathe, and maybe find a way to separate the subject a little bit more from the background so it's a little bit clearer about what you want the subject to be.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. Hopefully that will help. And can I get the next print, please? So just to remind everyone, we do have the Diamonds Big Lens event coming up on Thursday the 21st. So if you're here in Adelaide and you're wanting to have a go at some different lenses, see what you can see through the lens. What can we see? Book on the AIPP website. Go to the events tab and look for Diamonds Big Lens event. It's where you get to try different lenses on your camera. Really bug ones, yes. And we have a score of 78 for this print. And I've got fingers going up everywhere wanting to comment. So come on, let's do it, Dean. Go on. And then Luke, we'll get a quick one from you as well.
I think the blue at the sky is just so garish and so distracting and so fixable. So I think that the contrast between the harshness of this building that's about to eat this woman up because it's a big face there that's got to gobble her up, and this elegant figure in there, it's really cool. I've got heaps of love for it, but just pushed a little bit too far to the negative because of the garishness of that blue for me.
Luke, go ahead.
Yeah, just straighten the stairs at the bottom, and you could even go without the sky. It's super strong without that. So I'd encourage the author to have another crack at this one. It's beautiful otherwise, absolutely beautiful.
Fantastic, great comments. And it's come on just under award, but it is at high professional practice, so great comments. Hopefully that will help the photographer. And we'll have the next print, please. And this print scores a 75. I would love to get a comment. Luke, have you got the microphone there ready to go?
Oh, I sure do. Connection, just with this couple, and also the area between his legs, which needs to be brought down. There's some technical bits that could really be improved on this.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for that. And we'll get the next print, please. Oh, you guys are doing an awesome job. 81, it is a silver award. Brilliant, brilliant. Now, I would love to get a comment though. Luke, you actually were sort of just under there.
Yeah, great graphic. I just think that backlight can be controlled a little bit better to really improve this, and also the connection with the couple could just be improved as well. Maybe there's some other frames that they could visit to really get this leaping.
Fantastic, great comment. And we will have the next print, please. Simone. And this print scores a 77. Can I get a comment from Dean, please?
It's a beautiful bridal portrait, I reckon. I suppose I was wanting a bit more of a story. She's got this bouquet, which was interesting. There's no flowers in there. I wonder if that's symbolic for something. She's got this pensive kind of look on her face. It leaves me wondering, but not knowing enough to push it into the award range. So it's really professional practice again. Like we've hit a really beautiful objective of creating a fantastic bridal portrait. And so, yeah, commended for that, for sure.
Thank you very much for that comment. And we'll get the next print, please. And very consistent judging. We have an 81. It is a silver award. And actually, David, if I can get a comment from you, you actually were just under.
I'm presuming that's the mum and dad of this bride looking lovingly up, and it's a beautiful image of them. Because the focus is on them, I'm competing with the brightness of the dress in the foreground, and I think it would be nice to accentuate the mum and dad a little bit more, to bring it up, to give that extension to the story, to lead your eye into where you'd like them to go. And but congratulations, it's a lovely print.
That's great, yeah, great on a silver award. So Simone, I'll just get you to swap over for George. George, if you can just pop back in for me. And we will have the next print, please. So just for everyone, we are actually running really well here this afternoon. So we actually are going to be judging the family category this afternoon. So if you are listening in at home, stick by, because Room 2 will be going into family. This print scores a 83 and is a silver award, and we have a challenge from Mr. Mansbridge. Take it away, Dean.
Do I have to?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Wow, what a beautiful print. Oh my gosh. There is so much lusciousness and femininity and beautiful sense of movement and extravagance in our bride walking up the stairs, heading into, do we know what? Heading into the next phase of her life, we know that, but is she about to head into the chapel? Look, in terms of the print quality is great, you guys. Like, it's fantastic, the level of detail throughout the whole print. It's really busy at the top, but she's heading into what is about to be a very busy thing, you know? Like, the contrast between the softness and elegance of her and the rigidness in the mosaic and the granite tiles, marble tiles or whatever. It's just really cool. I'm asking for a silver distinction. Is that all? Oh, it was soft. I reckon you guys can hopefully think about evaluating this print, given a little bit more time, and perhaps you can come and join me on the silver distinction journey.
Fantastic. Now, George, you're actually sitting just under the award range there.
Yeah, I struggled a bit with this image. At first, I liked it. As I went up, it's you can tell that the background or staircase has been mirrored on both sides. Part of the dress has been mirrored as well, except for the bride in the middle. And because of those elements, it took out that reality. And is it single capture?
This is single capture.
So I'll re-evaluate in taking that in mind.
And if I can get a comment from Paul.
I'm quite spatially challenged by this. I actually can't tell the dimension that this is photographed on and what sort of compression's used. It's almost like there's two different planal elements working at the same time, which I find incredibly intriguing. And to photograph a bride so it looks like she's almost flowing like water in amidst this very static, gritty, highly detailed sort of context is really intriguing. And you're brought in by these leading lines to the side that just guide you through, and you have somewhere to walk out of the image, which gives you a context of where to go to. I'm 184, and I'm thinking hard about coming to join you there. Dino?
Dean, you're right of reply.
Pleasure. I suppose for me, in my experience in wedding days, is that there's this view of perfection, and there's this view of everything needs to be in its place and needs to be perfect. And maybe the nature of having this, what we assume to be a mirrored floor, is giving us that, the ground that's prepared before her is her plan of perfection. And everything's in its place, and it's all perfect, and it's all exactly where it's supposed to be. And then there's this nature of her being sort of frantic and approaching and jumping into that. So she's the one organic element in this, and I sort of can really strongly get that sense of her. You know, like I feel like she's a perfect bride in such an elaborate place, and she's had this dream of this perfect day, and now the last element is just for her to bring herself up there and go forth into the future. So I really think we've hit those marks in terms of superior craft and skill and imagination. I think it's all there for me, and I'm asking you guys to consider pushing your scores a little bit higher and coming into the silver distinction range.
Okay, judges. So Dean, you will hold your score on 88, and the other judges, please rescore. Fantastic work there. 85, silver with distinction. Great comments all around, guys. Well done. Great teamwork. And we will have the next print, please. And that completes the wedding category. So thank you to our sponsors of Diamonds. And what did I say? Wedding, what did I say? Wedding category. What? What's wrong? Okay, yes. So thank you to Diamonds. Thank you again, Epson, for overall sponsors of our awards. Judges, great job. So we are going to take a little break now, and then we are going to come back into the family category. So we are going into family category. We're steaming ahead. You're all doing such a great job that we just want to keep you here forever. So we will be back.